Special guest joining us in studio this morning, and really a welcome back to Elmo.
Hello.
Good morning, Elmo Johnston.
Yes.
Johnstone?
Yeah, depends if you ask my father or anyone else. My father would say Johnstone.
Good morning and congratulations and welcome back.
It's good to be here.
Well, I put out, I asked the people when was the first time you started it?
I started in December 1997, which was just after the station launched in Auckland, Waikato and Bay of Plenty.
Wow. OG.
So it was like two months after that.
Very OG.
And I was kind of the first fill-in guy.
Yeah, right. And you're an announcer on Live FM for years, right? And this is your third time back working for the company?
Technically the fourth. So I count that first season kind of as one, but it was really three because I was here for a bit and then I left.
And then came back.
And then I came back and then I left for a bit and then I came back and then I've been gone for 15 years.
Wow.
And now here I am.
So you may have been gone for 15 years, but people know you. You know, when you're on radio, your whole life is out there, right, in public. Laura has messaged through, and she says, "Yep, long time listener here, and I remember him. He's married to Bex."
Yes. So back in the Bex 1.0, like you guys had Bex 2.0 on the
as our producer. Yeah.
So Bex and Burns, I married Bex, and then a couple of weeks later we left the country and. I've been gone for a long time.
Wow.
Andrew has just messaged, "Yay, Elmo, so good to hear you back on live. Still hear your voice on some ads and wow."
Yeah, because you were doing voice work, you were the station voice for a while, so you're like intimately connected to Live FM in various different ways and places over years and years and years. Yeah. And now you come back, and what is the official title of your new role here? You're definitely our boss.
So I'm the head of content. So that means I'm kind of working with the radio and TV teams and kind of supporting them and helping you guys do what you do.
Well, I mean, it's been a long time in between drinks, Elmo. You've been around the place, So when I met you, it was in Australia.
Yeah.
So you did a stint in Australia. Have you always been in media?
Yeah, Live FM was my first kind of full-time permanent radio gig. I'd done a few stints around the place before that, but my first full-time gig was at Live FM, and after leaving here, I went to be program director of a station in Canada for 4 years, and then at the time there was just no work in New Zealand and couldn't find a job to come back to, and got offered a job in Australia, so I've been suffering for Jesus in Queensland for the last decade.
Oh, that sounds tough.
To suffer.
Yeah, cool. And what's so you're back in the building and you've worked here. Obviously, got quite a history with this place. What was the biggest difference? So sort of when you came back in, that you're like, oh, this has changed a lot since I was here.
I mean, the studios are phenomenal. Like they are a piece of work, like just art in motion. When I first started, we were in temporary studios because the builder that had been hired to refurbish the studio complex had gone out of business. And so there was this whole thing, like Rhema had lost a bunch of money and because the builder had gone bust. And so we were operating out of an office downstairs that wasn't soundproof.
Wow.
Rhema was next door, and we'd often get the guys banging on the wall telling us to turn the music down. So just the state-of-the-art equipment that's here is amazing. But it's funny because it's same but different. Like even the office is so much nicer and more modern than it was 15 years ago. But there's still kind of that same heart. It's the so much hasn't changed.
Is that the heart that brings you back for a fourth stint?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, while I've left, I've kind of still been in the family. I've been in close contact with Luke Weston over the years. Like he's a good friend of mine. In fact, I was involved in hiring him originally way back.
Isn't that funny? Now he's the one hiring you.
Yeah. Well, I was the assistant program director at that stage, and we were looking for a daytime announcer.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't the one that actually made the appointment, but I was involved in going through and reading the applications. And but yeah, Luke and I have known each other for a long time, and we've kept in touch over the years, and we've been doing similar roles. Like I was doing a similar role in Australia to what he was doing here, and so we kept in touch. And so I kind of feel like I've known what's going on in the world of Life FM and Rhema Media, even when I wasn't here.
I was talking to Bjorn about some of the people who have been here, who have done a big stint in the building.
Peter Shaw just walked past. He's got 4 decades under his belt.
How many people are still here from when you were here?
Well, obviously Peter and Gene, who you talked about earlier. Like Peter, Gene, and I worked quite closely. The three of us were a department at one time. we were the radio support department, so we were here to just kind of keep the engine running in the background. I mean, Luke is here. He's like me, been and gone a couple of times. Stu and Kathy, who have recently, Stu recently retired, and
Kathy's down the line,
and. I mean, Tom Francis, who's on Rhema, he was another one who he replaced me on the night show. I used to do the show was The Nightlife, and he replaced me one time. Like one time, there was this guy called Frankie the Night Guy. You might know him as the Reverend Frank Ritchie.
Frankie the Night Guy.
Frankie the Night Guy.
And even people. There was this guy called Intern George, who's now like the Reverend George Penn.
Oh, really?
So all these people, and Holly.
Funny, man, because what a well, that gives us hope, Stella. That I mean, Elmo was an announcer at one point. Luke was an announcer at one point. Look at these guys now. You're wearing a suit jacket. Luke's sitting in the CEO's chair. 2 other announcers have become reverend ministers. I mean, what does our future hold?
Nothing.
I'm looking at you. A genuine question. What does our future hold?
Somebody tell me.
I don't know.
Do you have? You've come in. This is your first week. This is day 3. You got any thoughts in your head about what you want to do here yet?
Man, I think, and I've had a few people ask me that, and I think there are great things happening here. God is doing things through this ministry, through all the different kind of arms of the ministry, and radio and TV and print and online. Man, I want to come along for the ride and use the skills that God's given me and the experience that I've had over, 20, almost 30 years in media, just to help, keep doing what God's doing in this place and allow him to use me to encourage you guys to keep doing the awesome stuff that you're doing. And I'm excited to be back. It's been quite an emotional week. Like I've gone home at the end of each day kind of going, it's surreal to be back here, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
Oh, we're excited for the future, Elmo, and glad to have you back on board with the team and leading from the front. And tough question, what are you going to do here? Because probably if he does have big plans, probably can't just say, now I'm going to fire you and I'm going to move this to here and I'm renaming this.
I have to tell you, number one thing I'm going to do is figure out how to use that coffee machine. It's
one upstairs.
It's not working for me, man.
Well, that is Elmo. He is the new head of content here at Rhema Media, so our boss at least anyway. And nice to have you back on board, Elmo. Good to see you again.
Cheers.